Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. The weather outside in Canberra today is very hot, but it just rained last night, so it's very, very humid and very wet outside. So I thought, not the best conditions to be outside. I'm going to be outside for most of this weekend, so I thought, while I have the opportunity, I'll quickly do another review for you all. So hopefully you find this one interesting. It's a horror film from Spain, so Spanish language, English subs. Spain have produced some awesome horror films lately, so I was hoping this would be no different. It was released in 2010, directed by Guillermo Morales, and this one is called Julia's Eyes. Now, don't be fooled, this is a Guillermo del Toro production. He produced the film, he did not direct it. I know a few people thought that he was the director of the film, but he's not. So it was Guillermo Morales, so just be careful of that. Don't get the film based on thinking that it was him that actually directed it, but he was involved in it, so that usually adds up to some pretty good things. So the story to this one is as follows. When a young woman suffering from a degenerative eye disease discovers her twin sister hanged in the basement of her house, everything points to suicide. Itched by other suspicions, Julia decides to investigate what she intuitively feels is a murder case, and embarks on a dark journey where the emanating light is literally fading to a flicker at the tunnel's twisted end. As Julia begins to uncover the terrifying truth about her sister's death, her eyesight deteriorates, blurred between a series of unexplained disappearances, mysterious deaths, and her own desperate struggle for survival. So we have Belén Rueda, who plays the main character of Julia. Belén Rueda is one of the most attractive older women I've ever seen. She's a great actress. She was from The Orphanage, so if you liked her in that film, you are probably going to like her in this one. So she plays Julia. She's got a degenerative eye disease, and it causes her to lose her sight. Now, her sister had the same thing. So her sister, at the start of the film, kills herself. And the whole family are shattered by this, and the police just rule it as a suicide because she's left hanging from the basement. But Julia suspects otherwise. She has this horrible feeling that she didn't kill herself. She, in fact, was murdered. But no one else believes her because it's pretty much an open and shut case. So she embarks on a journey to discover what her sister was doing in her final days, and just who the people that she was around in her, final moments. So as she starts uncovering a little bit of more truth to the matter, her eyesight is slowly fading, and it's getting worse and worse, and eventually she's going to go completely blind. But this is where she is starting to be stalked. Now, she's stalked by this unknown presence, and she really doesn't know if it's her madness or if it's really someone. And so as she goes further and further into the truth, this person following her is getting more and more intense. So while her eyesight is getting worse and worse, she has to uncover the truth before, her eyesight goes, and she maybe fall victim to this guy who she thinks is following him. So it all concludes to a very climatic, thrilling sort of ending. So if you want to know how it unfolds, I would urge you strongly to go out there and see this movie for yourself. Now my thoughts on the film. For some reason, I just dismissed this as another film like The Eye, the Hong Kong film. And I just wasn't interested in it. I had no idea. It didn't dawn on me until recently that this was actually a Spanish horror film. And so I got it, and I felt like a big idiot because I just saw it so many times, but just, not interested. So I finally got it, I gave it a look, and I can safely say that this is one of the most enjoyable horror films that you'll see. Now, if you're a fan of Giallo, you're going to like this. If you're a fan of Hitchcock, you're going to absolutely love this. It had those sort of elements twisted in through the whole film. If I had one criticism, it was a little bit predictable in some parts, but overall, I found this a very rewarding film. Now, the cinematography was outstanding. It was a very Giallo sort of feel, but it in no way comes across as a straight-out Giallo wannabe. It has a very definite sort of Spanish horror flavour. It kind of reminded me of The Orphanage's atmosphere in that it was very uncomfortable. Although you didn't see bad things on the screen, it just felt really bad because of the way it's been done. It has a very claustrophobic sort of feel in this film. As Julia's eyes deteriorate, you kind of feel that you're going into her pain. So the world is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, and whoever is following her is really starting to become very fearful and very powerful. And the best thing I liked about this film, not until the end, you don't realise if what she is feeling is real, and that you kind of think that there's a presence, but you don't really see it because you don't know if it's her mind playing games on her. So the whole film just has a very uneasy, uncomfortable feel. You kind of know there is more to this suicide than meets the eye, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And at the end, all things tie together very, very rewardingly. Now, It is a fairly shocking film. There are some shocking sort of scenes of violence, but it doesn't rely on violence. It just relies on good old-fashioned suspense. And I'll tell you that the whole film builds really, really nicely. And then the end. The end has got to be some of the best suspense you'll ever see in any film. In a film, sometimes I'll be watching, and then I'll have a quick glance at how long it's gone for, just to see, you know, sometimes I watch movies fairly late at night, and I just see how much longer it's got before, you know, I don't want to go to sleep too late, so if it's got a long way to go, then I usually turn it off and watch it another time. But I watched this late, and then I was kind of thinking maybe I should turn it off, but when the last quarter of the film really hits, I just had my eyes glued to the screen, and I just couldn't take them away because of how the director has really suckered you into the whole story. The whole build-up, you want to see how it ends. When it ends, it is just really, really memorable. The acting was great. Belén Rueda is just a really, really good actress. I really like her. As I said, she is a very, very pretty older woman. And then you've got the other acting. I'm not going to give too much away. I don't want to give anything away. So, yeah, all the acting was great, as you would expect from a Spanish horror film. They put a lot of attention to detail in their films, and this is a really good throwback to Alfred Hitchcock and, you know, even Giallo films. I'm not so familiar with Giallo films, so I didn't really get that sort of aspect to it, but I'm a big fan of Alfred Hitchcock, and this pays tribute to Alfred Hitchcock, and this is done properly. It's not overdone in the gore, it's no eye candy, it's just good old-fashioned tension and psychological sort of impact. So another very, very memorable film from Spain. I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I am not going to give it a perfect score because I felt that some parts were a little bit cliche. It's a little bit predictable in areas, but having said that, that is only a very minor flaw in what is a very, very memorable experience. So I'm definitely going to recommend this one. 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Definitely gets my nod of approval. If you're a fan of psychological films, you're going to get something out of this. And even if you're a fan of shocking horror, you're still going to get something out of this. Because although there aren't too many shocking scenes, there is one scene in particular that I know will get a lot of people very uncomfortable. So, highly recommended. Go out there and see this one as soon as possible. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later. Bye.